welcome to the Monday, December 29th episode of Morning Coffee and Chat. It is definitely a coffee morning here in Southwest Michigan. I got up about 4:40 this morning. It was 38 degrees yesterday at this time. It was 18 degrees when I got up at about 4:40 this morning. It has dropped down to 17 degrees. The snow is falling at the rate of about 2 inches an hour. The wife got called in early this morning. They wanted her there at 5:30, so I went out at about 5 o'clock and started the car. Had to chisel some ice off the windows and stuff. She got about a half a mile outside of town, and the snow was uh, already about 3 inches deep. The wind was blowing at about 40 mile an hour. And sorry, I'm waiting to hear if she made it to work. That was the next stage of my story. She got about a half mile out of town, and the snow was blowing so hard, it was already on the ground so thick, she couldn't tell where the ditch ended and the road began. She was going out of town, and when you get right out past our courthouse and stuff, you've got a big curve to the north. And she realized that she was on the left side of the road in oncoming traffic and almost in the ditch. So she turned around and came back home and waited until it was a little bit light out. I went back out, restarted the car, cleaned off the windows, and we had another probably 3.5 or 4 inches of snow on the ground where I had already cleaned off the porch to walk through and sitting on the windshield of the car and everything. So I'm waiting to hear that she made it to work. God only knows how many call offs are going to be today and how long she's going to have to stay there tonight. So there's probably a pretty good chance that I might have to walk up to the store a little bit later today and count out some change and grab something for dinner tonight because I'm not going to have her, driving 10 mile an hour all through the country and then happen to stop at the store. It's already going to be an exhausting day for her. She wasn't supposed to leave here until 8:30. They wound up waking her up at 4:30. So we'll we'll just have to see how that goes. Good morning, folks. Good morning. Um, uh, nope. Eyes know better. So good morning, Chris. Good to see you, bud. Good morning, Tony. Hope you guys are doing all right. Yeah, this we're getting we're getting the Great Lakes version of what hit California and Oregon. It's cold. I mean, our wind chill's probably right at zero, or if not below zero right now. Like I said, it's I just went out and started the car like 20 minutes ago, so she could leave for work, and it was 17 degrees with a 35 or 40 mile an hour wind. So and snow coming like crazy. Like I said, about 2 inches every hour is what we're getting. Just sitting here watching Operation Buckeye results. All right, it is 12 degrees Fahrenheit with 45-mile-per-hour breeze. Wind chill is minus 100 or so. It feels like it. It feels like it. I had on winter gloves when I went out and cleaned off the car both times this morning for. And oh yeah, it ate the wind. It was eating right through my pea coat. It was going through my gloves, going through my stocking cap. I think I would have been just as warm if I was out there cleaning the car off naked. It's cold. It's cold, and like, that snow's a coming. They just like an hour ago, they took the winter storm warning from 2:45 a.m. tonight till 1 o'clock a.m. Wednesday morning. So yeah, it's coming. It's coming. Good morning, sis. Good to see you. Ice is here in Columbus catching. There's Columbus has the second biggest population of some aliens in America. Huh. I did not know that. But yeah, they're definitely calling for a very iffy next couple of days, and it's coming right across the Great Lakes and just slapping us, calling us dirty names, and trying to leave money on our bedside stand. It's yeah, there's no negotiating with it. Needless to say, the kid is still on winter break. We're not going out unless we have to. Like I said, if we find out the wife um, has to work later tonight because of call offs, I'm gonna have to put on the comfy warm clothes and walk up to the grocery store to try to find something for dinner tonight. Um, Count change out and get what we can get. Sure as hell can't get any ground beef. It's still over $9 a pound here for the cheap stuff. I was looking at it yesterday when we went up there, day before yesterday, and in the manager's special bin, just ground beef, 3 pounds, 3.2 pounds of ground beef was $30. So yeah, God, what I wouldn't give for a frickin' hamburger. We have lettuce, we have onion, we have tomato, we got all the fixings, and no hamburger to put it on. Oh, let me see here. Who's here? Who's here? Who's here? Good morning, Santee. Good to see you, bud. Hope you're doing good. Good morning and almost happy new year. Well, good morning and almost happy new year to you too. I'm thinking very seriously about streaming at New Year's. I don't know yet. Haven't decided. I'm a little older than the last time I did it. I need my beauty sleep. Like, yeah. Y'all can't tell that. Um, Went from 69 here yesterday to 26 today. We were, uh, like I said, we were 38 degrees yesterday morning at 6 a.m. and we're 18 degrees today with a, well, it's dropped to 17 now, with a 35 to 40 mile an hour wind. So, yeah, it went from pleasant to frickin' cold in 24 hours. So, 62 to 12. Red meat is so damn pricey. Beef is $5 a pound in Ohio. I bought half a cow, half of a cow for $6 a pound this past fall. Smart. My family, my mom and dad used to do that. My uncle would go um, deer hunting in Virginia when I was little every year, and he'd have it packaged out there and bring it back in several coolers in the back of his truck. So we always went in and got half a cow with them, and then we would get a full deer when he got back from Virginia. So we always had plenty. But then again, at that point in time, beef was $1 a pound, and the deer was free. So it's really funny. I saw our governor, a video of our governor in Canada the other day. She was in Ontario, and she was talking to Canadian Parliament and stuff like that. And she was talking about the fact, the government won't let us use our Michigan cattle to put in the stores. They want us to go through Canada and get their beef, which is why our prices are so high. It's like, okay, if you can go back to, $3 a pound instead of $9 a pound, do it. Screw it. She sat right there in Parliament and said if any offensive is made towards Canada, that they didn't have to worry about the state of Michigan. Michigan was part of Canada before the U.S. was founded. Michigan can be part of Canada again after it's been founded. But they never had to worry about Michigan taking up arms against Canada. So, God only knows. But you know how I am about politics. I watch it about that long, and it's time to switch to something else. Then my freezer quit, so I had to rush out and buy another freezer. So, yeah, go figure. There's a beef shortage in America. COVID hit the herds hard. That is not correct. Beef is high because our beef herd is as small as it has been since the 60s. Well, you sure can't tell it here. You sure can't tell it here. We have got farmers that are sitting on cattle here because they're not allowed to sell them. We have had farmers on the news. We've had the governor on the news. We've had the news on the news talking about the fact that America has to buy its beef from Canada, and that's just the way it is. And due to the tariffs, we're paying a lot more for it. We have we have hundreds of thousands of head of cattle here in Michigan that the farmers can't sell. And our only grocery store here, um, I don't. For those of you that are familiar with these companies, our family owns all the food rights to this chain of grocery stores. So they set their prices. And if the store owners want to make any money, they have to mark it up a dollar, dollar 50. But they're setting their prices at like 7.50, 7.75, $8 a pound, and it's terrible because normally when food goes from the regular cooler into the manager specials, they mark it down a dollar, $2, $3 a pound to sell it. They're only marking it down like a quarter, 50 cents. So that's all that our family is allowing them to mark it down to sell it. And some of this stuff, it's in the cooler 3, 4 days before they put it into the manager specials, knowing it's going to sell out in a couple hours. And it's not. People aren't paying the prices. They're having to throw this stuff away. It's actually it's actually smarter to wait until 9 o'clock at night and go back to the dumpster and pull the packages of meat out of there and bring them home. Not if you saw some of the stuff draining out of that dumpster. Well, blah, 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 blah. Droughts since 2000 have been killing cattle too. Like I said, we've got hundreds of thousands of head of cattle up here in Michigan that the farmers are. Um, the farmers are going right on the news, and they're saying, and all the news networks. It's not just Fox or NBC. All the news networks: NBC, ABC, CBS, PBS, CNN, and they're all saying, they can't sell their cattle. That these processing plants are getting all their meat out of Canada, and they can't sell it. Right now, Michigan is paying California, Hawaii, and Alaska meat prices. It's a matter of 50 cents a pound, a difference of 50 cents a pound. But I went and checked that out myself. And sure enough, $10 a pound in California for ground beef, and we're paying, anywhere between 9.35 and 9.50 a pound. Alaska's $11, like $11 a pound. Hawaii's like $11 a pound. Oh my God. outside this morning and coming back in this 72-degree house kicked my butt. Hey, crap. Well, I will likely buy another half a cow this summer or fall. Yeah, we just heard, what was it, yesterday, that meat prices are supposed to go up another 40% after the first of the year, which means our ground beef is going to be somewhere in the 12 or $13 a pound range. Chicken, pork, turkey, all of them, they're all going up. So we were real lucky at Christmas time, for everybody converging on us. Um, our little hams. By little, I mean, like a 3 pound ham or something like that, where it was in the teens. We just happened to find one that was $12 and change, but the store had ham 50% off. So we only paid like $6 and something for this little 3 pound ham to feed, to 10, 11, 12 people. Maybe one of these days folks will realize that mom and dad can't do it all. We need to turn our holiday dinners into a pitch in or something. Pork is still a deal. Eh, yeah, it's not too awful bad. Pork roast, lean pork roast is like $2 a pound. Ham is not cheap. Shoulder is though. See, our problem here is only having the one store. We're at the mercy of whatever they put out. You can't just go up there and buy a pork roast. You can't go up there and buy a pork shoulder. Um, they're selling, pork ribs, like a rack of pork ribs. They're selling baby backs. They're selling, pricier cuts because that's what is being sent to them. And that's why I feel sorry about the young man that bought the grocery store up here a couple of years ago. Is he has to follow this contract from the chain, and since we're a tourist area now, we don't get those cheap cuts. Hell, we're lucky to have 70/30 ground beef. It's Yeah. I went up there looking for a turkey 2 days before Christmas, and our cheapest turkey was 14 pounds for $32. They had, now they don't get me wrong, they had, a couple of larger turkeys up there, but they only had like 8 or 10 turkeys in the bin. But they had like a 25-pound turkey that was $65, almost $70, 60, 67 and change. So yeah, it's gonna be a lot of vegetarians out there. That's for damn sure. Um, at some point, you should go to Walmart. I agree, and that's what I keep telling the wife. And not only do we have Walmart, but we have Aldi's. As soon as we get off the highway in Niles, Michigan, we have a brand new Aldi's, and everybody's comparing prices. How they're so much cheaper on their food, how much they're so much cheaper on their meat than even Walmart is. But it's like I've said in the past. We have a store right here where we can go and spend $5 or $10 to get something, a pound of bacon, or we have got a uh, almost an 80-minute round trip to go to Aldi's or to Walmart. So with gas prices, that's our big number one thing is making sure that we keep enough gas in the vehicle for the wife to get back and forth to work. And days like today, when she gets a quarter of the way to work and realizes she has to wait for some light outside because she can't see the road, she can't see where the road begins or the road ends and the grass begins. She had to turn around and come back and wait for 2 hours. And in that 2 hour time, we got another 4 inches of snow, and the wind hasn't slowed down any, but at least now she can see a little bit more. So, um, hey TJ, good to see you, bud. Never bought meat for a couple months. The price might be wrong. My daughter told me that there were no turkeys in the area around here. We were lucky they got what they got when they got them. Price of everything is ridiculous. This is why I shop Amish store here. Cheaper and bulk. Oh, I agree. I agree. I thought you said a Walmart was 15 miles away. Well, give or take. But in this weather, it's an 80-minute round trip. But yeah, we have one that's um, to be accurate, I would say it's probably 18 miles one way to Walmart, and then the other one is 20, 23, 24, 25. But in this weather, they've not even plowed yet. And like I said, yeah, she couldn't see. She literally couldn't see. I'm still waiting for my phone to go off telling me she made it to work. Um, storm hit you. Storm hit you too. Oh yeah, yeah. It started snowing probably about 3 after 2 days of rain. So all that froze, and they called her in early because people called off, and she was supposed to leave here, go in at 9. They wanted her there at 5:30, and they called her at 4:30. And I got up, came in here, got my coffee started, went out to start the car. We had about 3.5 inches of snow on the ground at that time. So As you guys know, she has no heat in the Explorer. So, I had to go out, get the car turned on, clean off the windows and stuff, plug her little seat warmer in, her little butt warmer. Um, and then I shoveled the back porch, and she tried to go to work. She got about a half a mile out of town. She couldn't tell where the grass ended and the concrete began. She wouldn't even she probably would have drove off the road if she didn't see a car coming right at her. As she rounded the curve, she realized she was on the oncoming lane, trying to see the road's edge and everything. She would have drove right off the road, into the ditch. So she turned around, came back, and waited till light. And I just went out, right before 15 minutes before we started this, and we had another 3.5, 4 inches of snow on the back deck just in a 2 hour time. Um, and I had to go out and clean all the windows off again, start the car back up, clean the deck off, and it's even colder now than it was 3 hours ago. So yeah, it's we're getting got, and they just took the winter storm warning and moved it from, I believe it was originally 2:40 a.m. tonight, and moved it till 1 a.m. tomorrow night. So where it was supposed to be over early Tuesday morning, it's now going to be early Wednesday morning, and then we get lake effect snow. So yeah, we're getting got.
Well, weather issues are temporary. For general survival, it would be wise to make 18-mile trip. Walmart. We got the rain, and last night it was heavy snow, rain mix that sounded like hail coming down.
See, Tony, I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you about going to town and shopping. But when you don't have the money to do it, it's virtually impossible to do. I mean, it is not financially intelligent to spend the gas to drive that distance to only pick up $15 or $20 worth of food. If we had a couple $100 to spend, then yes, absolutely, I would wholeheartedly agree. But when you don't, the holidays have just passed. It's going to be another week before she gets a paycheck. So it's just. But I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. And it's not like they actually care enough to make sure their people have the money to do these things. But when they're charging her, you know, $400 a month for insurance, and you have to carry the insurance if you want it. You have to carry it through them. It's just. And now she's got life insurance on me, which is another $40 a month. But health insurance is freaking expensive. So it just.
1 week's meat from the local grocery would be worth the money.
If we hit the grocery store, let me give you a price comparison on our grocery store. It would be the same price to go to the grocery store and buy a week's worth of meat, 7 days, as it would for us to eat at McDonald's for the next 7 days. It would be about the same by the time you buy meat and side dishes, bread, butter, milk. It would be we might as well go to McDonald's. I mean, then you're getting pressed butthole patties and stuff like that. But I mean, same price. But that's not what I came on here to talk about. I'm sweating. What the hell, man? Hold on a second, guys. Bloody hell. Fall down, you cripple. Yeah, I don't want to sit on here and talk about, the prices of food. It's just ridiculous across the board. And what's really ridiculous, and for those of you that, live down real close to the Mason Dixon line or something like that, um, I would definitely, I would definitely be heading down to southern Kentucky, northern Tennessee to buy your food. Um, right now, my mom and dad are paying $3.99 a pound for ground beef. Mom's catching it on sale for $2.99 a pound. If you buy the 10-pound rolls, she's paying $30 a piece for those 10-pound rolls of ground beef, and then taking it home and dividing it up. So you definitely, if you live south of the Mason Dixon line, I would definitely be going to southern Kentucky or northern Tennessee um, to buy meat. Now the only meat that they ever get, they when they come up here on their trips, my brother-in-law works for U.S. Food Supplier, and he gets them a case of bacon. It is a 15-pound case of bacon, and they pay $45 for it. They pay it. They pay. He charges them his cost to get a case of bacon, and now that's a case of bacon. That is a 15-pound box of bacon. Up here, we're paying $11 or $12 a pound for bacon. So I think our cheapest bacon is not $8.99 a pound. Still comes out to a lot more than $45 for 15 pounds of bacon.
Um, Food cooks costs affect all of us. I don't think I mentioned that my half a cow was 120 miles away. No, you didn't mention that. But that was because my daughter is the one who bought it, and it was local for her. Tony, you have guns, just go hunting. You're going to go out and shoot somebody else's cow? I would shoot a deer, a bear, what the hell ever. In Illinois, it's hard telling what he's going to find out there in the wilderness. You see what I'm reduced to, right? Lighting my cigars with a candle because this thing's almost out of fluid and we don't have any other lighters in the house. Let me see here. I got meat in the freezer. It is too fucking cold. Good morning, zombie. Good to see you, bud. I driving, so just lurking. I don't blame you, bud. Be safe out there. Hogs, deer, black bear, all food. Oh, yeah. I have a few herbs locally. We don't have wild hog or bear. Bull. There are a million Bambis out there. Take out them Bambis. Don't matter how cute they are when they're in a saucepan covered in gravy. You take a bite out of one of them, you don't even see that little smile and them spots. All I see is venison laying next to a bunch of salt boiled potatoes and all of it covered in gravy. But then, knowing my crazy Yankee wife, she'd want to put frickin' asparagus or Brussels sprouts or some dumb next to it. And this is the same woman that puts ground beef in pork and beans. She don't believe in putting bacon or anything in it. She puts ground beef in it. And you don't put relish or sugar in deviled eggs. It is nothing but pickle juice, mayonnaise, and mustard. And comes out like the paste that you put on drywall to fill in the cracks. Um, True Tony, but don't you have land in southern Missouri? Camping trip over, so back to work. Yeah, I was wondering how long your camping trip was going to be. Loved the pictures that you put up on Facebook. Thought that was really cute. I was actually kind of hoping you were going to get to be off until New Year's, but I figured doing what you do for a living, it wasn't going to happen. I mean, I wished it would have because I know you could have used the break, but in today's economy, you could use the money a lot more. Drew sees my vision. I I would still need beef. I don't care much for deer by itself. Oh God, I do. I'd live on deer if I could. 50-50 with beef, meaning the fattiest beef that you can carve off cow, and it is fine. Deer, like rabbit, is too lean. Had 5 days off. I got you. I could live off deer and be happy. Me personally, I prefer it over beef. I'm the same way with buffalo. Back when I used to get buffalo, not beefalo, buffalo, um, I would cook it by itself. Now deer, I kind of agree with Tony on deer. It's a totally different kind of lean than buffalo, and you need some kind of fat, something in it to make it a more sustainable meat. Uh, and change the flavor because around here, I don't know if you realized it or not, but winter deer tend to taste more like pine needles than corn because, well, in the wintertime, that's what they live on around here. Now, in the summertime, deer is a lot more cornier because they live in the cornfields and stuff and they eat up corn, soybeans, wheat. You find very little winter wheat here. So a lot of our deer during hunting season are more of a piney. I have 9 pine trees out here. If I want to taste pine, I'll go out there and chew on a pine needle. Yeah, I don't like the taste of pine. I could live off. I could live off elk, buffalo, or maybe squirrel. Squirrels like chicken in the way it can be prepared like chicken or pork, and it works. Oh, that would be amazing to get my hands on buffalo meat again. Only had it twice, but my grandpa was a hardcore hunter. Never wasted anything he shot. And it's really funny because you can get elk, buffalo, um,
and then any kind of specialty meat through Myers. If you go up to their meat counter, Myers has a specialty meat list. Now, in their cooler, they carry elk and buffalo, both ground, and then they carry like some roasts and stuff. But if you go up to the meat counter at Myers, they have what's called a specialty meat list. And you can get all that really weird crap, that millionaires like to eat. Oh, I would like a piece of zebra tonight. Well, you can go up there and you can order zebra. Oh, I would love some ostrich or lion. Honest to God, honest to God, I have seen the meat list at Myers. They have got zebra, they've got alligator, they've got lion, they've got all kinds of stuff on this. Or they did have a huge selection of stuff on these meat lists, what, 12, 13 years ago. But Myers does have a specialty meat list that you can order off of and have stuff specifically shipped in for you.
That would be shot. I think you are pretty near Buffalo. It is out in Oklahoma where I saw places that raised and sold buffalo meat. There it is, probably, yeah, it is probably chicken. I'm going to have to look into that, Drew.
Yeah, definitely. And normally, you have your meat counter sitting there. Right in front of the meat counter is the lobster tank. If you go past the meat counter to the right, there's usually a long row of a cooler that's got different meats and stuff in it. And then you get like midway down the cooler, and that's where the lunch meat and stuff is at. Right past the meat counter in those coolers is where you'll find elk, buffalo, venison, stuff like that. I know they still carry that because my mother in law's friend, uh, Jim, will go to Myers um, once a month or something. He'll buy some buffalo. He buys duck nuggets. He buys elk. He said you can get venison anywhere. He's not worried about venison, but he buys elk, buffalo, duck nuggets, and then he buys some ground elk and buffalo. He likes to cook those fancy things. He gave us some duck nuggets. We opened them, we smelled them, we thought, unusual. Then we put a bread tie on them and stuck them back in the freezer. Unusual smell. Getting in, made it, all counted in, and having a smoke. Thank God you made it okay. So I'll count the banker in today at 4, then head home unless plans get foiled by call offs. Plans foiled by call offs, dot, dot, dot. No, that never happens.
I had to call the Cape cell phone on my way here and talk to him because I was crying because my anxiety was so fucking bad. I turned into the doctor's office and called, told Linda I was not going to be able to make it. There's no way I could do this fucking drive. But I did. I did it. I got here. I did it. I talked to them all the way here to keep my anxiety down. Sharon doesn't have any powers, why she called off. And her mom lives on the same property as her, like they live right next door to each other. And she has to take care of her mom. You know, she's almost 90 and she's got dementia and stuff, and they only have one generator. So she had to stay home today, is why she called off.
Yeah, that makes sense then. If they've only got the one generator for the two houses, then yeah, I can understand her calling off to stay with her mom. You can't leave a 90 something year old woman by herself in weather like this. She loses power, whatever the case may be. The generator shuts off. Someone's got to be there to take care of her. So, yeah, I can't fault her for that. Well, well, well.
Um, there's a place and I don't think I could eat cats or dogs. Um, I bet he likes Rocky Mountain oysters too.
I have had Rocky Mountain oysters, butterfly and breaded. And quite honestly, I didn't even know what it was. My ex father in law, Mr. Kentucky, that just passed away earlier this year, when me and his daughter was together and I was in my 20s. He made Rocky Mountain oysters and breaded them, and you couldn't tell the difference between a Rocky Mountain oyster and a butterfly pork chop. I was blown away. I ate three of them before he told me that I was eating hog nuts. So I'm not going to complain about Rocky Mountain oysters because you can't tell the difference.
Let's see the thing on Mad Dog and Low.
I can't see who that is. Hey, Ian. Good to see you, bud.
Woohoo! It is a balmy 14 degrees, 29 mile per hour breeze. I am too male sympathetic to eat nuts.
Not me. If it's food, it's food. Hate to say it, but we go camping and get stuck in a snowstorm. I'm going to go straight up cannibal on you. So I will. I, if you wake up and your leg is really warm and you feel yourself being twirled around in your knapsack, you'll know what's happening. Don't even look down. I am rotisseраting your calf muscle. I am going straight up Donner Party on your butt. Oh, shit, she's still sending messages.
Then when I was leaving out of the parking lot at the doctor's office, somebody was pulling in there and they slid and damn near hit the fucking sign just pulling in there. I was like, Jesus Christ. Oh, the generator is at Sharon's house. So she brought, well, okay, so either they took the generator to her mom's or she brought her mom over to her house, one of the two. I'm not exactly sure on that part, obviously. But, yeah. So, yeah, and I know it's going to be a rough day because it's out of her mom's norm to be at her house because usually she's at her mom's house. Her and her siblings all take turns being over there with her mom. And you know how it is with them people with their dementia. They don't like change. It fucks them up really bad. So Sharon's going to have a hell of a day today, I'm sure. But all right, I'm going back in the cage. I'll talk to you on break.
That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. And yes, we know about those people with dementia. We dealt with grandma and her dementia and Alzheimer's and everything for biggest part of 3 years out of the 7 that we took care of her before she passed. And well, 6. But yeah, they're like they're like autistic children. They don't like change. Any changes in their environment, changes in how you put them to bed at night, changes in the food that you serve them, they can literally lose their crackers. And it can be very sad, that's for sure. Let me see here. I am too. Well, fortunately, or perhaps homophobic. Well, fortunately, I can go without food for 3 or 4 days without too much struggle. And as I get older, it gets easier to skip food. I've never tried going 3 or 4 days without food. Food is my friend. And honestly, just because I was able to drop 65 pounds 9 years ago after, the shock and the coma and shit, um, I still enjoy food. And yeah, I try not to go without it. Like, cold and windy today. We get done here this morning. I'll go out. I'll make uh, my chicken noodle soup with all that nice chickeny broth in it and everything. And I'll find me a nice place to sit and watch some movies and stuff and listen to the wind blow and think, oh, those poor souls that are stuck outside working and stuff like that. But when the daughter gets motivated and everything, I'll have her go out, stick her face in the freezer, and see if she can find something buried in there that we can make for dinner tonight because I don't want to get out and walk in this stuff today. And I don't want to be that guy counting change. Um, I know I got, $8 or $10 worth of change um, stuck in various places around here, but I don't want to be that guy. If I'm going to walk in, you know, 0 or -0 wind chills, I want to at least carry back food for a few days. I don't want to carry back a pound of meat. So, yeah, I'm. We'll find something. Nothing else. I'll grab. We have flour, we have eggs, we have milk, we have oil. I'll make some of those little pepperoni things that Little Caesars had here a few months ago. Little bit of pizza dough in a muffin pan. Put some sauce in there. Slap in a few pepperoni, a layer of cheese, few pepperoni, layer of cheese, and slide them in the oven. It's not going to be the most filling meal, but it's going to be a meal nonetheless. And it'll stop us from eating Ralph. Because believe you me, for those of you who have not seen Ralph, he is still a meaty little 15 pounds. So he would make a good meal.
Well, my brother in law and I did one of those. We are going to live off the food we hunt after 4 days. We went to town and bought hamburgers. After 3 days, the energy to hunt was pretty thin. Yeah, and that's actually a huge issue that you run into uh, when you go hunting on those expeditions like that. After 2 or 3 days, if you don't find, and it's the same way when you're at home. They say you can live without food for 20 days. You're going to be pretty close to death by like the 10th day. Um, Granted, your body is still eating all of its fat stores and stuff for another week, but yeah, you pretty much lose the energy to get up and do anything after those first few days. All you want to do is sleep. So, though you would be surviving for 20 days, you wouldn't be moving around much uh, because of the catabolism in your muscles and stuff like that. You're not going to have the strength to carry yourself around. So,
Whew. I honestly can't wait to 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 go look out on the back deck and see if you can even tell where I shoveled snow earlier. I cannot believe I've only been out of bed for, time is it 9:11 here. I can't believe I've only been out of bed for like 4 hours and 15 minutes, and already shoveled, or 5 hours. Yeah, 5 hours, 4.5 hours, and already shoveled twice. Shoveled almost 7 inches of snow off the back deck, and had to clean the car off twice. It's falling out there. So anybody who lives east, east of the Great Lakes, uh, fair warning what's coming your way right now. I know you guys have had snow for the last few days, while northern Michigan has had rain. Well, Michigan in general. Northern Michigan was getting snow. We were getting rain. Well, let me rephrase that. They were getting snow. Then on the third day, we started getting rain while they were still getting snow. And then all that snow moved out to New York and New Jersey and everything else. And now they've got all of this here that's moving out that way too. So, yeah, it's only just began for poor New York and New Jersey and everything. My goodness gracious. I can't see my coffee level in here with the coffee pot blocking the light out of it. All I can do is look at the little ring of light at the top level of the coffee. And if I block all the light, I can't see nothing. So, but I think it's, yeah, it's like right there. Tis a coffee day today. Um, the thing is that on the first attempt, we didn't bring anything on subsequent hunts. We brought some dried food like pasta and potatoes and the like to make one squirrel become 4 days worth of eats for two adult males. Yeah, I figured you meant pasta. See, I've done that on some of my longer trips. I done a living history event about, well, it was what, a year and a half before the pandemic, and it was 2 weeks. So we're on private land, 120-acre woods, um, doing this private 2 week event. And you learned real quick, what wild herbs and stuff grew out there, what you could trap. Nobody was doing any shooting because there was about 20 camps. So it was whatever you could trap. So, we were having squirrel, we were having rabbit. Um, but definitely, definitely an experience to know that you have to catch something if you want to eat. Now, like you did with the dried foods, I brought potatoes with me because I didn't know there was wild potatoes out there. There's wild onions out there. I did know that. Um, but when we cooked the rabbit stew or something like that, um, most people had carrots, potatoes, some celery, stuff like that. So we were able to pitch into a big pot and do like rabbit stew or squirrel stew or something like that. Every once in a while, when we were doing rabbit stew, the people that were able to get a squirrel, they just skinned them out and fricasseed them over the fire. So, you had a little bit of option there between rabbit stew or um, baked or fried squirrel. But it was definitely nice having a large group working together. Um, and it was a French and Indian War event, French and Indian War. Um, so we had nothing modern. These people were thread counters. We had nothing modern except a cooler to keep stuff in.
The living history thing is what prompted the hunts. We did that first hunt with flintlocks and all the rest with modern guns, or it was for me and Jimbo.
Oh, like I said, it was the one that I done was I mean it was a summer event, so don't get me wrong. You didn't really want to be around a fire. Um, it was hot. It was humid in the woods. Um, but you did what you had to do. The area we were in was just a camping area. They had roads cut through the woods and they had these pockets for tents to set up in. And then you went all the way to the end of the property to where the gun club was, and that's where they had their shooting at. So, good group of people though. What was it? The Menominee Muzzleloaders Club or something like that. Um, Good people, but yeah, they love doing the long term events. We were in a 7,500-acre state forest. I'm sure, that would have been interesting. I'll be honest about it. I miss those days. I miss being able to see and get out to these events and stuff like that. I want to start doing it again. keep my eyes open for French and Indian War era, Revolutionary War period, um, even 1812. But I'm kind of fed up with the Civil War thing and all the politics that goes along with it. I like doing Viking era. I like doing French and Indian War and Revolutionary War. That's just me. I mean, don't get me wrong. I get a chance to do a Vietnam or something with Mark this year. I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it because that to me is just interesting watching something modern being reenacted. And they bring out some heavy equipment for those. We have one Civil War reenactment that's down at Grissom Air Force Base in Peru, Indiana, that Mark goes to every year. And you've got privately owned tanks, you've got privately owned deuce and a half, um, six-wheel troop carriers, armored troop carriers. It's pretty guys. I mean, dudes that bring out a trailer of just communication equipment and stuff, and then bring out a separate trailer with the great big green tents and stuff in it. I met some guys one time that were doing German communication officers, and it was fascinating looking at how they had their tent set up, and they even spoke German uh, for the reenactment. They actually spoke very plain, pure English, but they were exemplary in portraying their characters. And it's very, very fascinating watching these guys from World War One or World War Two or Korea or Vietnam, even as modern as it is. But for me personally, I prefer older stuff.
We were in. I really ain't interested in doing living history stuff anymore. It is too much work. I would take some stones to portray World War II era Germans.
Well, I mean, you can't go out and do um, a World War II reenactment somewhere without having the enemy there too. It's like back in the day when we used to do Civil War. Um, when everybody was spouting off about the South was all about this and all about that. Um, you had guys out there under the Confederate flag doing a proper Alabamian or Kentuckian or Tennessean, Georgian, even though they were, right here in India or right in Indiana or here in Michigan or something. Um, the whole idea of doing a reenactment is making history understandable, especially now in a time period when it's not being taught in schools. So kids have no idea what it was about. So to interact with these people and to see it firsthand and experience through the stories of reenactors and stuff. Um, it's not always easy, but it's got to be done, or these generations now and the ones coming up of children are just going to be ignorant to what this stuff is all about. Oh yeah, the portrayal is tough. Um, I can't see how they do it. It would be hard for me. Um, I don't know. I would break character so much. So I mean, the first time somebody said something negative um, about the the Germans and how they treated other Germans and the Polish and stuff like that, I would have to break character. Um, and I mean, understand it wasn't the Germans that did it, it was the Nazi regime that did it. You know, they had a lot of German prisoners in these POW camps, um, and these stalags and stuff, because not all Germans felt the same way that the Nazis did, and they would punish their own people. Kind of like what's happening in the world today. You don't agree with us, you're our enemy. Um, they did have the coolest looking uniforms. And you know, it's really funny, but the guys that I met, the communication officers, were not wearing um, the black uniforms. Their uniforms were green. They were wearing the tortoise shell helmets with the Iron Cross on them and stuff. Even the green uniforms were pretty slick. Oh yeah, um, you know they had the nice form fitting thigh length uh, coats, um, the nice pleated pants with the flares on the legs, um, nice boots. I love the boots. But even when they took off the tortoise shell, their hats, the way they sat up in the front, were very very cool. I mean, they did have some very slick looking uniforms. Oh, goodness gracious! Still down to four and no sign of Sarah. I need to get a hold of her later and find out how her and the kids are enjoying their time off together. make sure that they're not getting snowed over out there in West Virginia. I mean, it's not like I can go and dig her out, but still, it's nice to know if they're at least all okay over there because they've been getting some of that snow and stuff. Whew. All right, we're sliding this down just a bit. No, we're not. We're going to set it up there. All right, there's a little bit of a breeze coming in now. 2025 is almost over, y'all. It is almost over. We have got 2 days left of 2025. Um, I have a video coming out on Friday night. Um, the 2nd, talking about our year in review, what we've got coming up. Of course, my dumb butt forgot to put a video up for this past Friday night with Christmas Eve and Christmas and everything. I completely spaced it, and I'm sorry that I spaced it. But I've got 2025 in review coming up this coming Friday on the 2nd, and what is coming in 2026. It's going to be a very interesting year between this channel and the goals we got set for this channel. Operating without monetization. What's coming on the other channel, paranormal pop investigations. Actually got up this morning, started working on New Year's Eve's video for PPI, and hopefully Friday night, as long as everything goes like planned, we will have our very first live Paranormal Papa podcast that everybody can watch and comment live on, and stuff like that. That is my plans for right now. My guests, as long as we can get everything rolling properly like we plan on. My guests will be Trevor and Riley from What Goes Bump in the Night, and we are going to talk about some of their more recent investigations, their history in the supernatural, and some of that other fun stuff. I'm going to try to keep the live interviews coming as long as I can keep getting guests. I'm going to do my best to keep the live interviews coming. We have also already got our very first current now I'm getting all dry and stuff. Bad thing about having that fan on, blowing in some cool air. I've got it all blocked off over here, so the sunlight don't come in and mess with this eye, but it's direct line air coming in on my face and my left side. So getting all dry now. Um, I have decided that since the cabin is probably much off the table, I'm going to start fixing this place up. That makes sense. That makes sense. But then what are you going to do with the property down there? You've got the cabin sitting on your property and stuff down there. Are you just going to sell it? Are you going to leave it in the family for, you know, the inevitable in the future? Um, what's your plans there? Well, like I was saying, we've already got our first current investigation on the table. I am working with a lady down by Sturgis, Michigan, a young woman down by Sturgis, Michigan, about and getting getting an investigation done on her house. When she ran across the fact that, you know, I do what I do, she's like, you need to come to my house. So I got her number yesterday. I'll be contacting her, trying to find out what's what with her place, and try to get something in the works. At this point, it's a vacation home. There you go. Good thinking. Everybody needs a vacation home, whether it's 100 miles from home or 800 miles from home. Unless she does a similar thing. To that last lady. Huh. Oh my goodness gracious. That's funny. It actually feels a lot later than what it is. Looks like we got another message here. Happy birthday to right around wine, breakfast solution. Winter storm warning for Michigan. No poopy caca. So how are you guys all spending New Year's? Do you think I should do a live stream? Anybody be interested in a live stream? Is it just gonna be crazy old me um, sitting up here by myself for a couple hours? I mean, you guys tell me what you think. Um, I am thinking about buying one of those sheds for extra storage here. I have a lot of gear that I really don't have room for, but really want to keep. New Year's Day is our family Christmas, but I would hang out on the eve. I'm seriously thinking about it. You know, it's been a couple years since we done a New Year's Eve thing to break in the new year together. Um, I don't know. But yeah, the shed thing is a great idea. That's something I would like to do this year is get a larger shed or completely do away with these two sheds. These two sheds are over 20 years old. The one has a fiberglass roof, so tree limbs have fallen out and stuff and cracked the roof on the one. The little metal one leaks like crazy, so only the things that are up off the floor are even any good anymore. Um, but I would like to get rid of these two old sheds and get either a larger shed to put things in with shelves along the walls, or get the wife's carport put up and just put shelves on the back of it along the back wall and put everything up on there. That way she has some place to pull her car, and then just take those two sheds out and lay grass seed down. Because I want to start doing something to fix this place up. It went almost 2 decades without anyone to take care of it. Well, it went a little over a decade with no one to take care of it. And now everybody just kind of looks at me and says, why don't you fix things up? You're a crafty dude. Fix some things up. Of course, we've got privacy fencing that's already here that I got from people to run along the entire back. That way people can no longer shoot up our driveway in the middle of the night thinking it's an alley and then almost hit the shed or my canoe or something because it's sitting right here where our driveway tees off along the alley. Um, but I want to put the privacy fence up across the back access into the alley, put a carport up there for the wife to pull in and then back her car into, especially when there's inclement weather coming. But make it big enough. Our neighbors have one they got on Facebook that was absolutely incredible. They paid like $1,000 for it. But it sits, oh God, probably 14 or 15 foot high. It's probably, I would say it's 18 feet across, and it's about 25 feet deep. It's got the steel tube frame with the heavy canvas cover and stuff on it. But, I'd love to have one like that out here. That way there's plenty of room for storage. There's still room for a workbench and stuff out there. I'd be able to close off part of the front of it and make all that area a work area or a workshop area, and the wife still got plenty of room to park in. That'd be great. That'd be great. That way, anything that we got to do around here, I've got the workbench and the saws and the vices and the sanders and stuff out there. Plenty of room to keep the lawnmowers and stuff. I mean, that's what I'd like to do. But I mean, who's got a grand for a carport? Um,
I do not go out on any road on New Year's Eve or Black Friday or St. Patty's Day.
I'm actually very happy. The wife is off. We're supposed to be off work at 7 p.m. On New Year's Eve, where she normally works from 3 till midnight or 3:30 till midnight on Wednesdays. She got real lucky on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, um, going in early or scheduled to go in early, scheduled to come home early. So I'm very thankful for that. I do not want her out driving at 12 or 12:30 at night on New Year's Eve. So I was very thankful that she's off by uh, 7 on New Year's Eve.
Oh hell, I have one of those metal sheds out on my trailer. 7 by 10 would be great. The cabin was a yard shed 12 by 24 that I paid $4,200 for.
Yeah, the one shed that we have out here is like a 7 by 10, and the other one I would say is probably a uh, 10 by 12, 10 by 13, and it's uh, 8 8 feet tall, 9 feet tall. The other one is 7 by 10. That's only 6 feet at the peak. So I can barely stand up in there. I'm just a few inches shorter than 6 feet. No, 5'7.5", 5'7 3/4. But still, the wasp nests and stuff are up in the peak of it, and spider webs and like that. So I don't want to be, going out there and walking through it, getting it in my face. Um, but yeah, the 7 by 10, it leaks like a bloody sieve. You go in there, if you went in there right now, the floor would be a sheet of what's left of the floor that's not rotted away, because it's a sheet metal building with a plywood floor, and it's been sitting there getting rained on and stuff for 22 years. So yeah, it's all rotted away, but it's all ice out there right now. Um, and then the two sheds are joined together by a little causeway, and the kitties run from the metal shed straight into the fiberglass shed and find stuff that's warm enough to get in.
I forgot I bought that tin shed. Oops. I bought the tin shed thinking that I would use it at pump generator house.
Makes sense. I mean, it's not like it wouldn't come in handy, to be honest. Folks are losing interest already, Tony. We got You and one other person still in here. Oh, now it's you and one other person. We had two people. Okay, I'm done with the coffee. I don't know why, but for some reason, here for the last month or so, coffee has been really upsetting my stomach. I mean, it literally made me sick the other day. And I didn't, e, I was 1 cup shy of a full pot, and it made me sick. So I've been stopping at 2 cups and then drinking my water, and I didn't today. I think I should have. Kind of a blah time of year. No, I've not been using cream and sugar. These last few days, I've been drinking it black, and yeah, it's kind of sort of kicking my butt. But I've noticed that it's. I can't wait to use up all this Folgers that I got now. It's yeah, been leaving a bad taste in my mouth, and like I said, it's been upsetting the old tummy. So I think it's about time I go back to cream and sugar again, because it didn't bother me near as bad then. Ugh, that hurt.
This this week, from December 26th through December 31st, has always been kind of blah since I stopped getting toys to play with.
Well, don't feel like the Lone Ranger. Um, I got a deck of cards, or a game, I guess. Cards Against Humanity uh, for Christmas. You know, blind guy gets a card game. You know that you got to read questions off of, and then read answers off of. So, yeah. Don't know who that is, but I am not going to answer it because I don't know who that is. But the cool thing is, when I get my eyes fixed, I'll be able to play cards again without any issues. So, yeah, it can be used by everybody else until I can see a card again. So, I ask for a choice of one or two things depending on the cost of it, and I got something I didn't ask for. So, hey, Santa's still doing the same job he's done for the last 15 or 20 years. I ask for this, or this, and I get this, which I never asked for. I just between us, I think in all actuality, I got something that they wanted, but since nobody wanted to buy me anything, they bought it and put my name on it because they wanted it. That's what I think.
I needed, got a pretty bright flashlight thus far. I needed one for the truck, so it is appreciated, and it is rechargeable, so that's good too.
Well, the only reason I asked for anything is because I was asked what I wanted. In the past, I've just gone out and got my own stuff, and then listened to it for like 3 weeks. Why you don't buy yourself Christmas? Christmas is for buying other people's stuff. So, or buying gifts for others. So, yeah, hmm I've learned. I've even been looking on Facebook Marketplace for a new tent or a used tent, but new to me. Um, so you know, I don't have to sleep out under the stars when I go and do an event in case it's raining or whatever the case may be. Um, yeah, that'll never happen.
I tell the daughters just buy for the kids. I bought the eldest blood grandson a set of tools so he can start with mechanic stuff.
See, that's really cool. That's really cool. At least you're looking out. You know, that's cool. I would like to have gotten some stuff for the stepson and his wife and the granddaughters. Uh, I wound up spending like $20 at the dollar store just to get stocking stuffers and things like that for everybody, which was fun. I mean, trying to find all the appropriate little candies and popcorn and peppermint bark, cocoa bombs, things like that. I enjoy doing that. But it's really cool looking out for the eldest grandson, so he can start doing some mechanic. Who knows? He may follow in your footsteps. He may become like a real awesome mechanic because of that tool set.
I ain't telling how much I spent, but it was more than I have spent on grandkids before.
Oh, wow. But all right, guys. It is that time. It is time for me to get out of this little room and go get something warm to put in my belly. I will definitely put something up. And remember, I bought them all guns. I remember. I'm gonna go put something warm in my belly and stretch out and relax my back and my legs. All this rain the last couple of days and the cold air, uh, which, I'm not going to say cold, but, it was, colder than 70. Uh, Started messing with my arthritis a bit. I've been aching for a couple of days, and now we've got wind chills of 0 and snow. So I am going to go and stretch out a little bit and enjoy my day before I got to get busy around here. Uh, but I will let you all know. You will definitely see something posted for New Year's if I decide to do it. We'll just have to see what happens. You take care too, sir. You take care of yourself and stay warm, stay healthy. And if I don't see you guys on Wednesday night, I will definitely see you a week from today. So you guys take care, be blessed, and we'll holler at you all later.